Hello everybody! Today we are going to talk about Bat Cup, a racing game from the creators of Alchemycal Crystal Quest, Pablo Miras and Beatriz Álvarez. Bat Cup is a game suited for ages above 14, from 2 to 4 players, with an approximate duration between 30 and 120 minutes. The main goal in the game is to be the first player to go through the finish line in the last lap. Board and cards. Bat Cup has 8 tiles to build 3 different boards, 2 boards of 4 tiles and 1 of 8 tiles. The elements we can see on the board are weather marker. Here, we'll show how will be the weather. When the leader goes through the checkpoints and the goal, a new card will be drawn to change the weather. Lap marker. Players decide how many laps the race will have. Track. This is where the players will compete. There we will see special zones like finish line. Here is where the race will start and finish. When the players pass through it during the race, they will receive crystals. 1 for the first one, 2 for the second one, 3 for the third one, and 4 for the fourth one. Checkpoint. When you go through one of them, you get 1 crystal, and you also can repair your car. Repair. When you pass through them, you can repair a part of your car. Repairing a tire has a cost of 1 crystal, and repairing the body has a cost of 2 crystals. Arrows. You can't change lanes when you are on them. Color arrows and alchemy symbols. The next square will have to match the color of the square you have just passed. Slime. It interrupts the movement. You have to use up a movement point to get out of it, and you can attack. Oil. It will make your car spin. When that happens, you will have to use up a movement point in your next turn to get back to the race. Holes. When you fall on them, you lose your turn and take a braking card to see which part of the car breaks. The green arrow indicates the front part, and the red one indicates the rear part. Following the order, we will break one part of the car. The next turn will start from an adjacent square. Character cards. On them, we see the name and illustration. Slots for brakes and nitro. Squares for placing the tires and body. Movement and attack cards. On them we see strength our car will take the curve with, number of squares the car will move, weapons available, how many squares of distance, and which direction they will attack. Setup. First of all, the players choose which track they will play and the number of laps. Each player choose their pilot and take their miniature, meeple, cards, 3 spike tokens, and 2 tack tokens. Then, players flip randomly a weather card in order to know which tokens to place at curves. Right then, give a position card to each player to determine in which order they'll start. The first one will be in the inner part of the board, and the fourth one in the outer part. Give 10 crystals to each player, and place the remaining tokens next to the board. Next to that, players place in their cars the body tokens and decide which tires to buy. Soft tires cost 2 crystals. They break with 1 impact, and they allow you to make it through the curves with 1 point above their strength. Hard tires cost 4 crystals, and they resist 2 impacts. Each player can buy brakes to subtract 1 point to the car's strength in the curves, or nitros to thrust forward an extra square. Each one costs 1 crystal. Once this is done, everything's ready to start playing. Game round. In the beginning of the round, every player takes from the player's deck, chooses 1, and discards the other 2. After that, each player in order will make 1 move and 1 action. The active player reveals the card and makes the move, taking into account the number of tires of the car. Moving diagonally will cost 2 movement points, but passing behind a rival car will only cost 1 point. If a car hits another one, the player who provoked it will lose the remaining movements and will damage the front body of the car. If it was already damaged, the car will lose a front tire, and in case it was already missing, the player will lose 1 of the rear tires. If the car only has 1 tire and doesn't have a front body, it's removed from the race. The car receiving the crash will spin out of the track if it doesn't have a shield on the rear part. You can spin your car with the handbrake using 2 movement points. After that, you will have to take a braking card. When you enter a curve, you will have to take into account that the car's strength has to be the same or lower than the curve strength. If the car has soft tires, it can enter the curve with 1 point above. The car's strength can be reduced by 1 point by brake used. The player in the last position can use the turbo card to move forward faster and be immune to attacks, obstacles, and curves. Beside the movement, the player can do one of the following actions. Attack a rival with the weapon showed in your card in any moment, before, during, or after the movement. The card shows you the available weapons, the way that weapon attacks, and the squares of range it has. If we have our body or tire broken in the direction we want to attack, it won't be possible. When we damage another rival, we get 1 crystal. If there are no crystals left, we get an extra movement in the next turn. Buy brakes or nitro when passing through the finish line. Repair the car passing by a square with this symbol. The first player to complete every lap is the winner. And that's everything by now. Remember that you can support Bat Cup in Kickstarter, following the link on the description. See you soon!